Hey Ken, ZDTV
Hey,
time.
we're back.
Woo!
Let's do it.
I do so enjoy a
What are we
ZDTV.
trying to do today?
Let's see. Today we have our guest star, which would be Evan Curtis, who has been. Kevin, Evan's waving. Let's bring him in. Let's bring. Oh, we're fighting
Hey,
for
There we go.
control. There's
There's
Evan.
Evan.
So Evan's been doing some interesting things. He has been trying to use Ziti in Java-based applications. He's been trying to use Spring Boot, and he's been trying to use Azure. So a couple of weeks ago, Evan and I were just having a chit chat, and he said, "Hey, I've been doing this interesting stuff in Azure with Spring Boot since we saw Eugene added the Spring Boot getting started kind of thing." And Evan took the initiative, dug in there, and said, "Hey, I'll go make a server for this." I said, "That's cool." Evan said, "Hey, should we put this on ZDTV?" I said, "Maybe not the server so much, but let's put the client side stuff in." So the
Okay.
code to enable a Spring Boot server is sitting out in GitHub, and you can find that out there. And then there we go. Evan, we're gonna have to turn you down just a scooch because we're getting some feedback from your mic. And let's see. So let's see. Still getting a bit of feedback.
Evan, if you can turn down your speaker a little bit.
Yeah. No, not the mic, the
Just
speaker.
the speaker.
Yeah. All right. There we
Yeah.
go. That sounds way better. Okay, cool. I'm still getting a little bit of myself, but whatever. I'll keep going. I'll just keep it going. So Evan made a Zetified server, and then he accessed that Zetified server through a tunneler, which was really cool. And today, what we'll do is we'll start from a brand new, fresh Spring Boot application, and we will embed the Java SDK, or the SDK JRE as it's called, into that application. And then we will access Evan's simple greeting web server entirely through Ziti. So
Let me
this
see
will
if I've got
be
this.
100% Ziti solution.
Okay, so we've got a Ziti service, and that's already done in advance. We've got a Spring Boot application, and we want to enable it to have a built-in Ziti connector.
Yeah, we have a Spring Boot server application, as I'll refer to it. And today we will make a Spring Boot client application.
Okay.
And that way, Evan won't have to use the ZD tunneler if he wanted to access his service, because it'll be a pure app embedded experience, the best zero trust money can buy.
Gotcha.
Oh,
So
and by the way, it's OpenZiti,
involved.
so it's free.
There's no tunneler involved because you said the example
right.
we have already enables the Spring Boot server. So we just need, so does, I'm not super familiar with like writing Spring Boot apps, but does it have the ability to generate a client, or do you get some things for free when you use Spring Boot for your server? Do you get a lot of
all of the above. Spring Boot, Spring Boot makes it nearly trivial to be able to create a web server, to create a web service, to create a command line client. Super easy. You add a dependency, you add an annotation, off you go.
Okay.
So I think Evan and I were talking ahead of time here in the green room, if you will. And Evan said, "Hey, maybe I should show you guys what I got." I think it would make sense for Evan to show us his sample working without the Java code, and we'll take a look at what he has.
Yeah. So here's the code. Just a simple Spring Boot application.
Evan, one thing we didn't get to this. Is there any chance that you can make these fonts bigger? They are not small. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's just a basic Spring Boot MVC, right? You have a controller here, and then just it's easy to run. All you have to do is just Gradle boot run, and you start up your web server. You can go to this in Chrome.
But this is not running Ziti right there.
No, this is not running Ziti. This is just a standard web service here with, if you visit the page, the local host, and you go to the root directory, it'll just play, it'll just show you, greetings from Spring Boot. So,
So this is the client that, no, before you go too far, this is the client that we are going to be Zetifying. Is that what you want to do? Is Zetify another server? So like this is a beta or an API to API type of example?
Yeah, I mean, basically just try and take this example here, and then one of the samples that we have this is a Kotlin application. It's pretty simple. This, you can get this set up where you have your JWT and you enroll it, and then once you start this service, rather than just saying greetings from Spring Boot, it actually uses the SDK to get the the client name that's actually accessing the service here. So
Cool.
This one works. Really just looking
Cool.
to you guys for advice on how to do this with
And
Spring Boot.
And so this application you have deployed out into Azure somehow. So now it's just running out there ready to be accessed, correct?
This application in particular?
No. The one that had the Ziti enablement.
Yeah, this is all being run locally right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you were running it on Azure. My mistake.
No. We have a service that's out in Azure right now where I've just turned off the public access. I blocked it, and the next step for that is to add Z so that regardless of whatever IP address the traffic's coming from, it should just be able to access the service and it won't get blocked. That can be like a feature thing.
I gotcha. So, is your zitified Spring Boot server, is it running?
No.
Okay, so let's start up the zitified server.
This guy?
Yep. And then you have an identity which is participating in the same Ziti network, right? So you'll be able to access this server using your browser.
Yeah.
Cool. Or curl or whatever. Almost there.
Yeah, went a little bit too far there. Okay. And then I believe ...
Was it capital R? Yeah. And so did you, into this sample app, did you hard code the path to the configuration file?
Yeah, this is yeah.
And that's in application.properties, if I remember. So if you open up the resources right there, yep. And then take a look at this file. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Cool. Makes perfect sense. And then once that's running, you must have defined an intercept for this service. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And what's the intercept that you defined for it?
So I can log into the console here and look at it. I'm pretty sure it's 80. Might need to turn off this service. We'll give it a shot and just see what happens. Get to my Chrome. Hit this one.
We're gonna have to wait for your bandwidth here. Seems to be a little fuzzy. Is that just me, Ken, or is that a little fuzzy for you too?
Yeah, there's something going on with the scaling algorithm.
Gotcha.
I'm getting some artifacts in the compression.
Yeah. So Evan, I see that you've gone to localhost there. Did you actually create an intercept called localhost?
I just want to see which service is running right now. I know what the intercept is for the Spring Boot demo. It's
gotcha.
HTTPS Spring Boot. Give me 1 second here, and I will pull up my I'll put my intercept from console.
Okay. Always fun, these working from home events with the internet weather.
Yes.
Like I can see that Evan's bandwidth just doesn't want to participate today. Ken, however, love the new camera. Really does a nice job. I'm incredibly jealous.
One
You
thing
make
we
me
can try with you, Evan, is you might be able to send a lower resolution from your side and then just zoom in better, or zoom in more, I mean.
It's okay. Yeah, like I think it'll get the point across. It's not, it does eventually settle down once the compression
Yeah,
kicks in.
totally. It's not really a problem we need to solve right now.
And so, Evan, right now you are logging into your network. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the network. I'm logging into my network right now, and
Trying to find out what intercept you called it. We could probably find it by just looking at your Ziti client.
Yeah, I can actually show you. I can share the screen here.
If you just show us that Ziti client, I'm sure it would show us.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, you can look at it from the client, and you can also see it from console. So there's one way to do it, and then
okay. So let's go to that URL, and let's see it functional.
So you're doing a preliminary connection here using a tunneler before we move the client side into our Spring client, right?
That's right. I personally, I almost always do this just because
just make sure the server side's good.
Yeah, it's a bit easier to debug when you're not. I mean, sometimes it's easier to debug in the code. Sometimes it's easier to debug outside of the code. For something like this, I tend to make sure that I did it right by like you got two places to have bugs, right? The server side and the client side, and it's a lot easier to eliminate my own code because generally speaking, the bugs are mine.
Right.
So Evan, can you open up the Ziti desktop edge for Mac?
Yeah.
And then what is the identity that should have access to this service? It's right here. Okay. So spring -boot.
Yeah. So there's one, and then it could be the Spring Boot.
So you have the same address in there twice, which is a no-no.
Yep. That's.
Oh, it's actually not the same. It's Spring Demo and Spring Azure. Okay. Well, that's good. That's not the same. And did you go to Spring Demo or did you go to Spring Azure?
I went to Spring Azure.
Yeah, that should definitely work.
Give this a shot and see if it's.
No, can you have you ever tailed the logs in the Mac? It would be interesting to see what the ZD underlay or overlay, what the logs think is the particular problem here.
Okay. Typically, I use.
If you go to the Z on the top and then you click on something like logging, yeah, there it is, logging, and then you want to look at the packet tunnel. And what we're going to do is we're going to look through here and look for I see a failed to get session already. It's a little bit hard. So the tunnelers are multi-identity aware, which ends up potentially causing troubles understanding which of these things is the one that's actually producing the problem. So we do see some stuff like staging.NET Foundry. Like I'm sure those aren't the particular problem. Can you increase the text size on this as well?
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble.
The artifacts are tough. Even bigger, please.
I think this actually controls where you go in there. So probably
I think it's command equals or command plus.
I think either one of those to do that.
Well, how about just get the path and then go and tail the log using your console? That's what I tend to do. I see some controller unavailables. I don't think that's the problem.
Yeah, those are like you said. Those are probably from another identity, since it's all.
So your suggestion was to open up the terminal and then.
I would go to wherever this location is, and I would just tail that log. It's just easier that way, in my opinion. Then you can also make the console bigger.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to get this. Oh, there we go. Reveal and Finder. So
I will pop open
sorry.
the macOS troubleshooting guide and see if I can figure out what that file path should be.
yeah, because I'm going to have to. Yeah, in Windows I can just copy the path here. I don't really mess around with this too much. Console.
Sure. Well, let's see what happens.
Oh, it's open.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah. Evan, would you disable your video just to see if that will help the screen share?
Yeah, let me go back to the session here. Okay. And going to try to grab this file here.
And so there's no way to know where you are, huh? The screen share is just too blocky for me to be able to provide any tangible help.
Just pulling up this log here. I'm going to use VS Code.
Looks like the path to the tunneler logs, the packet tunnel logs, is under users, then your username. We can try to access this in your terminal.
I got it.
Oh, right there. There you go. Copy that path and just tail it.
You're already sharing your screen if you want to just go to your terminal.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. I grab that and then go to terminal.
Yep. Now you can zoom that one with Command plus. I think.
No, do a -F on that, not a -100. Yep, there you go. And then I don't know if will it allow you to do file colon?
No, you'll have to use file system path without the file URL part. Just a / before users. There you go.
Yeah, and then change your tail command.
That was a nice little skip in your line editor. Yeah, that file doesn't exist. So
that's good. That's a lot of fun.
It's to be because it was URL encoded with a %20 instead of a space.
Yep.
So just put either quotes around that or escape an actual space.
Yeah, \space.
Yep, this will also work.
Okay, so now let's go back and in the Chrome window, go ahead and refresh the spring.azure. Yeah, and then hit enter, and then go back to the console real quick so we can see what that what kind of errors it wants to pop out here. These are staging. They're not helpful. We don't want staging ones.
Okay, if you can just disable those other identities so we only see logs from the one that we care about.
There we go.
Okay. Any errors? I see a bunch of verbose infos and debugs. Can you go back to the Chrome window or do a curl or whatever and then come back to here? Well, I don't know. I can't. It's hard to troubleshoot through the screen like this. I don't see. There's an error. Could not find the waiter. I don't know what that means. All right, so I do have a server that's already running that is Spring Boot enabled. So I can just give you an identity, and we can continue on by going out and around. Instead of running your server, we'll run my server.
So this
And,
Spring demo one works though. I think we're looking at the wrong service. This is the one that's actually
oh,
enabled.
good. But is it still spinning?
This one I just reloaded it, but this one doesn't work. This is the Spring demo. So this is showing what should be returned from the controller where it has the client
Yep.
name here, right?
Yep. I can see that. Can you do a curl to spring.demo instead of that tail? Do a curl. I'm interested to see how long this comes back because it seems pretty slow. Yep. Okay. Much better. All right. Well, good. We've sorted it. I don't know what it was that fixed it. But now we have proven that Spring.demo is listening. It's traveling over a ZD overlay network. It knows that the identity is evan.mac.laptop. So now we're good to go. Now we can start writing the Java code. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and go back. Go ahead, Ken.
Ta-da!
Oh, ta-da! I thought you were interjecting like there was an issue. All right, cool. So go ahead and go back to your code now. And let's open up the new application which you wanted to zitify. And it's probably going to be a Gradle application, I would expect.
Yep.
So let's see what the build.gradle looks like on this thing. Okay, so we have a boot starter web. Cool. That'll get us the web's page. And you were able to debug this, correct? And it was functional?
Yeah, this one works. All I have to do is just go in here and then run simple .gradle.
Cool. As long as it works, that's all I care about right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new dependency for the OpenZiti SDK. So let's make a new implementation dependency for org.openziti:0 0 0 period plus. That's how I do all my dependencies most of the time, unless I need to lock it down to a particular dependency. This is using Gradle's range to say anything that's newer than 0 dot, giving me that version. So that's what we need in order to get the dependency into Gradle. I don't know VS Code very well. In the idea JetBrains tool I use, I would have to sync the build.gradle at this point. Now that you've done that, that should be all you need to do. Now you need to go back to your actual Spring Boot application itself, wherever you want to make the effectively the proxied connection, and start writing some code in here.
Okay.
Personally, when I did this, I followed along with the sample that is in the JRE project in GitHub that was for the OKHTTP client. I did that just because it is the friendliest way to do it. You do not need to follow the same sort of path. But if you followed that along, I have an example already to go from, so I'm sure we can be successful.
Yeah.
But if you look up, what was that?
Yeah, I think it'd be probably best to just stick with that.
Yeah. So go ahead and do you have the GitHub project either checked out, or do you have the browser window open so we can look at it?
Yeah, this should have. So in here we have
I've said JRE many times, but it's actually JVM. Yeah. So go to the is it HTTP sample? Let me look at mine. I think no, it's the sample minus OK HTTP. That one. Yep. If you open that up and then scroll down a scooch. All right to here. So you can see we set up some informations from line 54 to 65, which is effectively the lines of code that you need in order to be friendly with your HTTP client. So what we want to probably just replicate this entire stack of code. So however you want to put this into the code that you already have, I'll leave that up to you. But basically, if we just grab most of that, the two arguments you're going to need are this path and URL. That path is going to represent the path to the client JSON file that represents the identity you want to connect to your Ziti network with. And then the second argument is the service name.
Okay, so let's drop that in here, and then things that we need from this are the path.
Yep, you'll need the path and the URL.
Okay, and then you can get that from application.
It'll probably be easier if you put that in the same function that's going to be ending up calling Ziti. If you put it elsewhere, you're gonna have to pass parameters around and all that stuff. And I think for our efforts today, it'll be easier just to keep them all in the same function.
Okay, so we'll leave all this stuff up here, and we'll put it.
Yeah,
in
I probably would. Well, it's going to be in a function call. Yeah, so I would grab probably all of this. Or there you go. That'll work too. Yep. I think you might have an extra brace up there. I don't know if I didn't see if you got rid of it or not. Okay, good. It is very difficult to watch your screen. The artifacting is substantial.
Okay, let me see what. Not used to working with such a large font here. Okay, I think there might be too many braces here. Go up here. Yeah. So let me go ahead and get rid of this.
All right, cool. Now you probably want to call Ziti.
Yeah.
And maybe call Ziti will return a string. How about that? That way you can just return call Ziti. Response. Yep. That's not going to be quoted.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't quote it. You need to. Yeah, there you go.
Let me go ahead and save that.
And then return response from Ziti on line 58. Nope, on line 59 now. There you go. Okay.
I'm surprised it doesn't suggest that one.
I was surprised too. I thought he had a typo in there, but I don't see a typo. Okay. So now when you go to the root index of your web server, it'll call Ziti, proxying a request over the overlay into your server that's listening on Ziti, emulating like an API request.
Yep.
All right. So now in here on line 10, we're going to want to put the path to a client JSON file, which has the capability of dialing a Ziti service. And so this identity is able to dial its own service, I would imagine. But if it isn't, we're gonna find out. I
Then
type
this
sprint.
is this the
It's
intercept URL?
it's actually http://. Yeah, there you go. And then all that stuff is the same. I don't know what the thread.sleep's about. We're going to just ignore that for the time being because obviously that's not so fantastic. I imagine that's to allow the server to set up. But we're going to just skip over that and pretend we didn't see it. We're going to go down here. It's going to initialize things. It's going to do all that. And then that system.out.printlns, we're going to need to change all of those system.out.printlns and change them into a string builder and append to a string builder. I would just declare a string builder outside of this so that on the bottom you can just return the string builder's toString.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make a string builder up here. Perfect. And then down into the return section, we're going to return SB toString on line 54, 53, 54. Okay. And now in lines 45 to 47, we're just going to print to the string builder instead.
My IDE is not picking up on that, so SB.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's kind of a bummer. SB.append, APPEND. And I probably would just append the response.body.bytes. I don't think in our example we care about the headers. I would just comment out lines 45 to 47.
Okay.
Nice shortcut.
You should be able to just do response.body on line 48. I don't know this, but one would hope. And boy, that artifact is killing me.
Prints out the bytes are transferred. Okay.
Well, it's going through and encoding them into an actual string. I just don't know what the function body takes for input.
I'm find out here.
Or returns, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no semicolon.
Semicolon. And call Z. Doesn't like this. Void cannot be converted into string
Let's see.
because it's a void.
Yeah.
And
response body is not something that will work. You can try calling response body toString. I don't know what's going to happen if you do that, but let's give that a try. And why don't we drop a breakpoint on line 54? That way we can inspect what the maybe 48 too. We could inspect the response if we need to, and the string buffer as well, or builder.
Is
it still grumpy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now you need to add some imports. Oh, okay. We did not add the corresponding Gradle dependencies. So this dependency is implementation com.squareup.ok http3 colon ok http3 colon ok http colon plus. Just give us the latest 3 dot whatever. Perfect. Now let's see if it'll compile. You might need to add the imports as well over on your client. I would just add an import OK HTTP3.star.
Let's go back to what that dependency. What's the name of this guy? com.squareup.htp. Okay.
It didn't like it with no semicolon is the problem.
This is good, right?
Yeah, it is. It is no. It is com.ok.http3. Oh, actually, I take it back. It is just OK HTTP3.star. Yep, and then semicolon. Don't forget the semicolon. That's what it's complaining about.
Yep.
Okay, we're almost there. 18 errors. What is it not like now?
Okay, I don't have
we need to import ziti, of course. So let's do that is, where are my ziti imports? It's org.openziti.star. No. In the Java code. Yeah. org.openziti.star. Semicolon. Yeah. Now let's see if we got it. We're closer every minute. Oh, key store. So this is javax.net .ssl.star. And then also java.net.star and java.security.star. Obviously, if I was writing better code, I would just use the individuals, but stars are fine for now. And then java util.collections and java util concurrent timeout. util.concurrent timeout. Capital T, capital. Oh, time unit. My bad. I can't read my own code. Time unit. There we go. With capital U. No, it's a little c. All right. Let's hope we got it this time. Let's see. What did it like? Collections? Oh, collections is not .star. It's just collections. Yeah. Okay. Looks like we got farther this time. Nice.
There we go.
No, wait. It's running a server. Yep. Now you're going to go and curl to your local host, port 8080, I think, or whatever you told it to be.
It's the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, no. You want to curl to HTTP localhost because you just started a local server. That local server is going to then call spring.demo. Yep. Just like that. Okay. So it's not listening on port 80. Can we go back to, is it 8080? Let's go back to the startup and see what port it's listening on. Does it tell you in here somewhere? Yeah, right there. Spring Boot. Nope. Go down like a couple lines. Yeah, 8080. Yep. All right. Let's see. Colon 8080. 3-second timeout. Okay, well, that toString did not work. So let's go back to our code. And then let's just copy that whole entire line that was before. That's the standard char set, UTF-8, byte, decode, blah, 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 and drop that into the append instead. Yep. All right. Rebuild this and relaunch this. Well, at least it ran. We know it didn't crash. That's cool. You're gonna have to import standard char sets probably. No, it wants byte buffer imported. Where's byte buffer? It's Java and java.nio.star. And then do java.nio.charset.star as well. Yep, .star. All right. Now let's give it another roll. All of those imports are in the sample for what it's worth. Just, when we copied the code, we forgot to copy the imports. Some IDEs, like Eclipse, was really good about that. It would find and detect those and add the imports all for you. Looks like VS Code is not quite doing that.
Or maybe just missing the right extension to enable that.
Yeah.
If it's like language server foo.
Yep. Exactly. And let's see. Hey, look at that. So
Yeah.
Evan, we've done it.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was how hard it was to enable a client-side Spring Boot application using the ziti-sdk-jvm. You never know if it's JRE or JVM. I never get it right. Is it JVM? I think it's JVM. I don't know. You can find it when you go look for it. And cool, we did it. That was it. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
So that's a successful. Yeah. You'll be able to go to http://localhost:8080 here. Should show you the same thing. And then we got to figure out why there's that 3-second sleep in there, and we're good to go. It will look no different, of course. It should look identical. Yeah. Is it still chugging? There it goes. Cool. And that's a successful ZDTV if I've ever seen one, Ken. What do you think?
Probably the most successful, shortest from all successful ZDTVs. That was the shortest.
Does that mean we're learning our lessons?
Well, we only had to deal with about maybe half as much like local environment stuff this time. So
that's right. That's the funny thing. We get on these TVs and we spend half the time just figuring out how to tail a stupid log file or doing something.
And you have incredible patience, like to be able to like help somebody through terminal through dictation is always an exercise in patience.
It is always fun. Well, Evan, I have enjoyed this ZDTV. Thank you. You want to turn your video back on one last time? Let's wrap up here. Hey, there he is.
Hey.
So when you watch the video back, you'll see what we saw with respect to the artifacting. But hopefully, it was legible to me because I've seen the code before. If you were unfamiliar, it's probably a little bit difficult. But what I'll do is I'll put a link in the end up after this all wraps. I'll put a link to the sample code of where I found the actually. Ooh, I could do it right now, can't I? Let's see. Let's put my restream challenge. Let's see. I'll go to captions. Yeah. I go to primary text and go, here's that link. We'll paste it in here. Oh, it's too long. All right, let's see how much. All right, perfect. That'll work. Let's see. Whew, everybody get that? Just quick screen cap. I'll put that link into the description afterwards.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh, it's on the stream. You don't see it right down there?
No,
It says, here's that link.
oh, no, it doesn't show it for me.
Well, that is strange. I don't know why that is. Evan, do you see the here's that link?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
We can put it in the chat.
We will put it in the chat in the transcript afterward.
Leave it in the description, yeah.
Evan, thanks for coming on, and thanks for driving, and thanks for showing your screen. I know it's a little daunting when you're typing in front of the world like this, but it was great.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Ken, we'll see you next time.
All righty.